So, two-step equations. Remember, with two-step equations, you are identifying x, and then you are trying to get it by itself. When you do this, we are working, still using PEMDAS, but this time we are going backwards. So, instead of going PEMDAS, we're starting with the S and the A, and then we're doing the D and the M, and then lastly the E and the P, which we won't get to until later. So we undo subtraction and addition first, and then we undo division or multiplication second in these two-step problems. 3x plus 2 equals 14 is the first problem. I find my equal sign and I draw a line dividing the left side of the equation by the right side of the equation. And then I find my variable. In this case, my letter is x. And I'm trying to get x all by itself, which means I need to get rid of 3 and I need to get rid of 2. 3 is being multiplied with x, so to get rid of multiplication, that takes division. 2 is being added to the x, so to get rid of addition, that takes subtraction. And that's what I do first. So to get rid of addition, I subtract. I'm trying to get rid of the 2, so that's what I'm taking away. And the number one rule for solving equations, if you do it on one side, you have to do the same thing on the other side as well. Positive 2 minus 2 is 0, so I can cross those out, leaving me with 3x. Carry down the equal sign on the line. 14 minus 2 is 12, so I write a 12 on this side. Now I have 3 that I need to get rid of, which remember was being multiplied with the x. So to undo multiplication, I divide. So I divide 3, and on this side I divide 3 as well. Same thing, both sides. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So I am left with 1x, which is the same thing as x, which is equal to 12 divided by 3, which is 4. And now x is all by itself, and my answer is x equals 4. This problem looks intimidating, probably because there is a fraction or what looks like a fraction. But remember, this just means divide. So we have our equal sign. We have our x right here. We need to get it by itself, which means we need to get rid of 6 and we need to get rid of negative 4. Negative 4 is being divided with x. 6 is being subtracted from the x. So remember, first thing, I undo subtraction or addition. So first, I'm going to get rid of 6. The opposite of subtraction is adding. So I'm going to add 6 to get rid of it. But I need to do that now on both sides. Negative 6 plus 6 is equal to 0. So I can cross this out, which means all I have left on the left side of my equal sign is x divided by negative 4. Carry down my equal sign on my line. On this side, I have negative 1 plus 6. So negative 1 plus 6 is equal to positive 5. And I write a 5 on the right. Now all I have to get rid of is my negative 4. Remember, to undo division, we use multiplication. So I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 4. I can cancel things if they're the same on the top and the bottom. So I can actually cancel these negative signs and I can cancel the 4's. So I have x is equal to 5 times negative 4, which is negative 20. And that is my answer. If you would like to see a couple more examples, I have 2 more for you. This problem looks different because when I draw my line down my equal sign, I notice that my x is here on the right. That's okay. I do the same thing. I evaluate what I need to get rid of first. Is it negative 2, which is being multiplied with x, or is it 10, which is being added? And remember, we have to get rid of addition first. So I want to subtract 10 first, but if I do it on the right, I have to do it on the left also. 14 take away 10 is 4. Bring down my equals sign. Negative 2x was unaffected by that move, so I rewrite negative 2x. Positive 10 minus 10 is 0, so I get to cross that out. Now all I have to get rid of is negative 2, which is being multiplied with x. So I divide to get rid of multiplication by negative 2. I need to do that on both sides. 4 divided by negative 2 is negative 2 equals, cancel out my negatives, cancel out my 2's, and I have x is all that remains. Now this says negative 2 is equal to x. That's my answer. X is equal to negative 2. Same thing. Last problem. Draw a line down the equals sign. Oops, actually draw a line down the equals sign. Identify where your x is. The first thing I'm going to get rid of is the 7, because 7 is being added, and I can get rid of 7 by subtracting. Remember, subtracting and addition comes first when solving. I need to subtract 7 on both sides, though. Now we have 2 minus 7, which is negative 5. Bring down the equal sign. X divided by 5 is not changed, so I leave x divided by 5. Positive 7 minus 7 is 0, so I can x that out. Now, we've got our x, and it's being divided by 5. To undo division, we multiply, and we're multiplying by 5 to get rid of this 5. But we need to do it on both sides. 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. Carry down the equal sign. Over here, the 5 on top cancels the 5 on bottom, and all I have left is the x. Bring that down, and we have our answer. Negative 25 is equal to x.